What is up, guys? It is RSC6414 here, back with another video. This time I'm reviewing WWE Monday Night Raw. Overall, I gotta say, it was a pretty good show. No complaints here, and there's maybe a few matches, obviously, that weren't very good. But let's go ahead and get to the review. First thing we had was Daniel Bryan and Nikki Bella out here. You had Stephanie McMahon come out. She was congratulating Brie Bella, and Daniel Bryan, congratulating them on getting married. She had a little gift for him. It was like Kane's something. Kane's music hits. Kane comes out. Daniel Bryan's trying to protect Brie Bella, and then out of nowhere, Kane hops the barricade, choke slams Daniel Bryan. Brie Bella escapes just in time, and you have Kane tombstone pile drive Daniel Bryan on the outside. Then he would go on the steel steps and tombstone pile drive Daniel Bryan on the steel steps. Pretty weird, kind of cool, but kind of sick, twisted in a way, considering Daniel Bryan's dad passed away earlier today. So my condolences go out to the Danielson family, obviously, and hopefully they yeah, so basically Kane tombstone pile drives Daniel Bryan on the outside, the announce table, and the steel steps, and we go from here. We kick off the first match of the night. Daniel Bryan would end up getting carried off on a stretcher. We wouldn't see him for the rest of the night. We end up seeing Bad News Barrett versus Sheamus in the Intercontinental Tournament for the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a semifinal match. Winner would advance to the finals to go on next week. This match was probably one of my favorite matches of the night, honestly. It was really good, back and forth. You had Bad News Barrett back and forth, and Bad News Barrett would eventually hit the bull hammer on Sheamus. He would pin Sheamus for the 1, 2, 3, and Bad News Barrett would advance to the finals of the Intercontinental title tournament here. I was glad he advanced. He's held the title numerous times, but I wouldn't mind seeing him hold it again, to be perfectly honest. I'd like to see them give him a push, though, for the main event scene. Then the next thing we had was we find out that the WWE app, you can vote John Cena to face Luke Harper, Harper and Rowan, or all three members of the Wyatt family. And spoiler alert, he would end up facing all three members of the Wyatt family in the main event. The next match we would have would be the Los Matadores versus 3MB. Heath Slater accompanied 3MB. You had Hornswoggle with Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre, and Torito with Fernando and Diego. This match was back and forth. El Torito would end up goring Heath Slater off the apron. The Matadors would hit a double tag team move, and El Torito would pin Drew McIntyre for the 1, 2, 3, and the Los Matadores would defeat 3MB, Hornswoggle, and El Torito, the greatest rivalry in the history of sports entertainment. But then after that we have Evolution come to the ring. Triple H sounded like he lost his voice. I'm not exactly sure how or why, but you know, we're not gonna make a big deal about it. Him and Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H were all in the ring. They were talking about how Evolution came back. They're going to take out the Shield, and basically the Shield come out. Then they start exchanging words with Evolution, who's on the entrance ramp, and then you have the Shield say, "Let's kick. There's either one way to do this. We can fight now, or we'll go over there and we'll come up to that entrance ramp and fight you." The Shield are on the way to the top of the entrance ramp when all 11 guys from last week come out and block the Shield. So the Shield versus Evolution 3-on-3 tag match, Extreme Rules. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously you can see I'm rocking the Believe in the Shield, the Hounds of Justice t-shirt here, and it should be a good match. it was a good segment overall, good build for their match at Extreme Rules. The next match we had was the Usos versus Goldust and Cody Rhodes non-title tag team match. Ryback was at the announce table. They've been on a roll lately. The Usos, Cody Rhodes is about to hit crossroads on one of the Usos when one of the Usos super kicks Cody Rhodes, pins Cody Rhodes for the 1, 2, 3, and the Usos defeat Goldust and Cody Rhodes. Pretty good back and forth match. After the match, Ryback gets up from the announce table. They start beating the Usos down in the middle of the ring. So it looks like we'll see Ryback most likely versus the Usos for the tag team championships at Extreme Rules. So it should be interesting. I like Ryback. I just the name's not the best, obviously. Then the next thing that we had was a match between Emma and Layla. Santino accompanied Emma. Fandango accompanied Layla. Santino would take Fandango out with the Cobra on the outside of the ring, and then Emma would pull out a pink Cobra. She would hit it on Layla for the 1, 2, 3, and Emma would defeat Layla via the pink girly Cobra. Thought that was a nice touch and kind of funny at the same time. The next thing we have is Cesaro versus Rob Van Dam. Cesaro had some new entrance music here. Good stuff. You had Cesaro versus RVD semifinals of the Intercontinental title tournament to move on to the final to face Bad News Barrett. This match was back and forth. Cesaro looked like he had the upper hand here, and then Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter come out. They interfere. Jack Swagger hits Cesaro from behind, tosses Cesaro right into the ring post, and Cesaro gets counted out of the match. He tries to get in the ring, but the 10 count is hit before Cesaro can get in. Therefore, Cesaro gets counted out, and Rob Van Dam advances to the finals of the Intercontinental Championship Tournament. Number 1 contender. He will face Bad News Barrett next week. Then after the match, Cesaro and Swagger went at it, and Cesaro got the best of Swagger, and he would roll out of the ring and retreat. They announced on SmackDown Cesaro versus Jack Swagger this Friday night on SmackDown. I think it's a little too early. I think they should save this match for Extreme Rules. Maybe they will, but I don't think it was such a good plan to put on SmackDown, honestly. I think it would have been better to save for Extreme Rules. Then the next thing we had was Paige versus Oksana, non-title, obviously. Paige locks in her submission maneuver, makes Oksana tap. I like Paige, but Oksana I'm not a big fan of, so it's kind of a whatever match. Then we have Alexander Rusev versus Sin Cara here. Alexander Rusev, another squash match to get him over. He locks in the Accolade submission maneuver, basically the camel clutch, making Sin Cara tap, and Rusev defeats Sin Cara. Since Rusev beat Xavier Woods last week on Raw and beat R-Truth at SmackDown, they announced at Extreme Rules Alexander Rusev versus Xavier Woods and R-Truth in a 2-on-1 handicap match. That match will happen at the pay-per-view. Most likely Rusev, you think, will beat him here to show his strength and get him some more wins before he gets that big push, hopefully. The next thing we find out the main event is John Cena versus all 3 members of the Wyatt family. Like I said, on the WWE app, you had John Cena could face Luke Harper, he could face Harper and Rowan, or he could face all 3 members of the Wyatt family. He faces all 3 members of the Wyatt family. This match was whatever. It wasn't like the most entertaining in my opinion. It's back and forth. Looks like John Cena hits the attitude adjustment on Bray Wyatt. Sorry, Bray Wyatt. What the hell am I saying? John Cena hits the attitude adjustment on Bray Wyatt. He pins Bray Wyatt for the 1, 2, and Luke Harper breaks up the pinfall, saves the pin. The ref rings the bell, and John Cena wins here via disqualification. They're basically brawling in the middle of the ring. John Cena and all 3 members of the Wyatt family. Cena gets rid of most of them, but then Bray Wyatt hits the Sister Abigail on John Cena, cuts the promo at the end right over the lifeless body of John Cena in the middle of the ring. He sings He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, Bray Wyatt does, and the show ends basically right then and there. Overall, pretty good episode overall. I enjoyed it. You had the 2 Intercontinental title matches were pretty good. Cesaro Swagger feud. Rusev continued to squash. Page continuing to win. Evolution, the Shield, the build will continue most likely next week on the Go Home show before Extreme Rules. And more matches will be announced. So overall, good episode of Raw. The overall grade, I would give it 6 out of 10. Again, the overall grade I would give this week's show 6 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed this review. Check out my other videos and subscribe. Thanks, guys.